Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Catherine Andrioli. It felt like summer today in Worcester with hot temperatures sweeping through the area. Highs were in the 80s this afternoon here in central Massachusetts, and many in the city welcomed the heat after a cold and rainy week last week. Here's a look outside today at Elm Park in Worcester. Monday, people were wearing winter coats, and today was the opposite. Short sleeves and shorts where many people were enjoying the temperatures reaching into the upper 80s this afternoon. Many say today was the best weather we've had so far this spring.
It's the most beautiful day we have since last summer. So we took the baby to enjoy the weather. First time at the park.
It's awesome. I mean, we have been waiting for this for so long now. Actually, it feels like summer, not just spring.
I am loving it. It's nice outside. I'm just enjoying the breeze, my children, my day off from work. Yes.
And temperatures are expected to rise again tomorrow here in Worcester. We'll have a look at the forecast later on in the show. A longtime tradition in Worcester could soon be coming to an end. The nonprofit organization First Night Worcester announced today it's shutting down after decades. Now another organization is looking at ways to ring in the new year. Olivia Lemon reports.
It was a tough decision, but again, it's hard.
Howard McGinn says First Night Worcester will officially close at the end of the month. The executive director says trying to run the organization with essentially only 2 volunteers was becoming too much.
Our biggest challenge was finding volunteers who could help us push the organization forward because it is a lot of work.
First Night Worcester is the second longest running event of its kind in the country. The nonprofit organization has brought family and friends together for 35 years to celebrate the new year.
We've had a great run. The last 3 years have been fabulous. We had more performances and more venues than we've had in years.
Meanwhile, First Night Worcester says they have been talking with the city to continue the tradition. Discover Central Massachusetts President Christina Andrioli says there has been an effort to bring more people to the downtown area, and a new celebration will be another opportunity to do so.
We have a nice skating rink on the back of the common that we can utilize. And adding some festivities for both kids and families would be a great addition on that particular day.
Andrioli says she served on the First Night Worcester board years ago and would hate to see the tradition end.
I think positioning the downtown in a more concentrated effort on the common was one of the things the city and the chamber and Discover Central Mass thought that they could bring to the table to help make sure that a celebration continued.
McGinn says he will work with the city to help make sure there are still festivities on New Year's Eve.
I know the city's committed to doing something different and unique.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
A man is in critical condition after he was robbed not once but twice on Monday night. Worcester police say the incident happened on Mount Pleasant Street just after 11 p.m. Monday. The victim was getting into his car when he was struck in the head and knocked to the ground. The attacker then hit him again, leaving the man unconscious. A short time later, police say a group of people saw the victim on the ground and began going through his pockets. They found his car keys and stole several items in his car. Police say this was a horrible crime.
Male was brought to an area hospital with a serious head injury. He's now in critical condition. He spoke a little bit when we first got there. He was in a daze, but he wasn't able to speak with any detail about what happened. But it's certainly an outrageous crime, and it's something that's very difficult for everyone to deal with in the area, I'm sure.
And that victim has been unable to talk to police because of his severe head injury. Police do not say he did not know his initial attacker. Anyone with information is asked to call Worcester Police. 1 in 5 Americans will experience a mental health condition in their lifetime. That's according to the National Mental Health Alliance. This month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It started in 1949 and aims to raise awareness about mental health issues. The Bridge of Central Massachusetts is one of many organizations across the country celebrating Mental Health Month. They provide mental health services here in Worcester, and today they held their annual kickball tournament with staff and patients as part of several events. Director of Services Alicia Stacy says this month is important to fight the stigma.
People are afraid to talk about their mental health issues. It can be embarrassing, or they can see it as shameful. This month so far, we hosted a visit with Senator Jennifer Flanagan in regards to a mental health conversation. We also just had today our kickball tournament that had our staff and our individuals. Nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be embarrassed about, and that there are many people that are out there to support them through their journey in regards to mental health.
And the Bridge is hosting an event on May 25th called Teen Talk. It will focus on mental health services and support. The event is free of charge and will be held at Worcester State University beginning at 6:30 p.m. Mass DOT holding a meeting tonight discussing a proposed capital investment plan update. It was one of 12 public meetings across the state gaining public input on proposed transportation projects funded by the CIP. The plan uses state and federal money to fund transportation investments across Massachusetts. Tonight in Worcester, Mass DOT held a public meeting at Union Station. They discussed projects funded over the next 5 fiscal years. Those include highway and municipal projects, regional airports, rail and transit projects. Mass DOT Planning Director Stephen Wolfel says $17 billion will be invested in all aspects of the Mass Department of Transportation.
A bottom-up approach of picking capital projects to one that's centered around identifying our priorities, which there are 3: reliability investments, modernization investments, and expansion investments, and talking about. So we've got a lot of positive feedback that this new program approach of doing this is more transparent. People like it, I assume.
And tonight's meeting is part of an effort by Mass DOT to gain public input before drafting the final capital plan to the Board of Directors in June. Heading into warmer weather means more drivers out hitting the road and traveling. AAA Northeast was in Worcester today, showing a presentation of the dangers of not wearing your seatbelt. Our Cam Jandro was there and has the story.
A crash test dummy headfirst through a windshield serves as a gruesome reminder to always buckle up. Wednesday, the Massachusetts Executive Office of Safety and Security and AAA unveiled the display as part of the Click It or Ticket campaign. AAA says it's the season with high school proms, graduations, and warmer weather to get the message out about seatbelts.
The time from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we call that the 100 deadliest days for teenagers. So this is appropriately timed to draw attention to the fact that it's time for parents to have that all-important conversation with their kids.
According to AAA, Massachusetts ranked 48th in the country in overall seatbelt use at 78%. Dr. Michael Hirsch is a trauma and critical care specialist at UMass Memorial Medical Center. He says the seatbelt is an equalizer for those involved in severe car crashes.
At least with the seatbelt, they're going to be contained in the vehicle, and if we get a chance to get to them with the help of our first responders, we have a really good shot at making them walk out of the hospital.
The Worcester Police Department is conducting seatbelt enforcement this month. Officers say Wednesday's display is a better way to show people the dangers of not buckling up.
I think people can hear about something, and it's not the same as when you see it with your own eyes. When you see a smashed up car and a dummy tossed out, and you can actually picture yourself or your friends in that situation, I think it makes it that much more real.
Traffic officers on East Mountain Street were making sure drivers were obeying the speeding limit while also making sure they were wearing their seatbelts.
Let's say
38, 536.
Yeah, so 38 miles an hour at 536 feet.
It's a $30 violation, and it does not go on their insurance. The whole purpose of us being out here is to promote people wearing it more.
To help create a safer city and save lives. Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Fire Department unveiling a new truck today. It's designed to better navigate city streets here in Worcester. The $492,000 engine was paid for through the Federal Community Development Block Grant. With new addition to the average age of Worcester fire trucks will now be 9 years old. The new E1 engine will replace a 1997 truck. This truck is specially designed to travel the hilly and narrow streets of Worcester.
Your apparatus would have probably a 450cc motor. This one has a 500. It has a heavy-duty transmission. It's built to take the hills of Worcester and survive the hills of Worcester, and that'll increase the longevity of the truck. It's also got a narrow wheelbase, so we can navigate the tight streets in Worcester.
And the truck is nicknamed after the old fire station on Providence Street, which had a nightclub. The firefighters called The Rock. An independent filmmaker from Worcester showing off the city in one of his new films. It's about an entertainment comic store in Worcester. He says a lot of work has gone into the film, and it will now be showcased in central Massachusetts in just a few weeks. Rosalind Flaherty spoke with the filmmaker and has the story.
As a kid, Adam Masnick says he loved the store That's Entertainment in Worcester.
My mother and father used to bring me there a lot.
2 years ago, the Worcester native and his team of friends created a feature film called That's E about the store.
There you go. You're all set.
The 90-minute comedy is about a kid who returns home from college and goes back to working his old high school job. He falls in love with a girl and contemplates going back to school.
Comic book and like comic book nerds and all that kind of stuff get like a bad rap, and I kind of wanted to show it in like a positive light.
Masnick says the film has had a few showings at film festivals. The independent filmmaker says the entire film was paid for out of pocket.
We literally maxed out credit cards. Like, we put everything on the line to kind of make this. And that's kind of how much everybody involved kind of like believed in it.
Their latest project is a story about heroin addiction called What Weighs Us Down. Both films will be playing for the public in Millbury on June 3rd.
And we're excited to tell the story and just show people this is what we're passionate about and this is what we want to do.
But the team says the process hasn't always been easy, having to balance multiple jobs while filming.
The filming is a lot of work. It's not a ton of fun, you know. We were shooting overnights.
Masnick says he wants the world to see these films, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is making something meaningful to him and his team of friends.
You got to make something if you want to do it before anybody else.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.